ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Wonderful. We'll get straight into an amazing section today. And after listening to Krishna's assurance today, no one will ever question bhakti again. So let's get started. So we've seen Arjuna has been listening to Krishna very, very attentively. Krishna has told Arjuna to go to a very quiet, clean place for your sadhana. Then sit down in a comfortable, sukhasana or whatever asana you find comfortable. Sit there motionless and erect. Keep your eyes focused on the tip of your tongue, so it's not distracted by any of the worldly attractions. Maintain brahmacharya. Then Krishna says the object of your meditation should be me. And while you're doing all of this, make sure yukta ahar, yukta vihar, yukta cheshtasa, yukta karma. Keep your food, your sleep, your work, everything ekdam regulated. And he says every time your mind wanders idhar udhar, you hold it and you bring it back and make it focus on me. Right? So you have to be determined and you have to ensure that your mind will not get agitated. It should be like a lamp in a windless place. And if you keep practicing this regularly, then slowly what is going to happen is you're going to start experiencing detachment from the world. And while you detach yourself from this material world, you will go and attach yourself to that Supreme Lord. And the more you attach yourself to Bhagwanji, the more anand you are going to experience. Right? You will start seeing the Paramatma everywhere in every living being. So we did that beautiful line, for those who see me everywhere and see all things in me, I am never lost, nor are they ever lost to me. Right? So that is a promise that Krishna has made. So please remember, the whole fundamental of Ashtanga Yoga is that I, with my effort, will control my mind. And if I do that, then I will realize Paramatma in my heart. But last week we also saw this towards the end, ki itna sab sunne ke baad, Arjuna came up with an anti-climax. He says, Krishna, not possible. My mind is always agitated. My mind is restless. My mind is unsteady. तो कितनी भी मैं कोशिश कर लूँ, I cannot subdue my senses, give up all my desires. है ना? I cannot focus my mind on you 24/7. I cannot see everyone with an equal vision. So all of this seems very, very impractical to me. Right? ये मुझसे नहीं होगा. And that's when he spoke the verse 34. चंचलम ही मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढ़ं तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायुर इव सुदुष्करम. He says, my mind is chanchal. It's flickering. It constantly has thoughts coming and going. My mind is pramathi. It gets attached to all kinds of choti moti cheeze in my life. My mind is also very balavad. It's very, very strong. Even if I intelligently make a decision, my mind pushes me to do something against my own will. And my mind is dhrudam. It is obstinate. It keeps rebelling. मैं कितना भी बोलूँ सुबह 4:30 बजे उठो, my mind does not let me. It plays games on me every day at 4:30 in the morning. Right? So he says, Krishna, it is very, very hard to subdue the mind. Controlling the wind is easy, but controlling the mind is far more difficult. Okay? And when Krishna says all of this, when Arjun says all of this, Krishna is listening. And he says, sahi hai Arjun. The mind is difficult to control. But here is my solution. Okay, so verse number 35 is where we are starting today. Chapter 6, verse number 35. Please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kaunteya Vairagyena cha Gruhyate.
Lord Krishna said, "You might be asked of good things. It is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment."
Very nice. Look at the verse. We look at it word by word. Asamshayam. कोई संशय नहीं है. There is no doubt. O Mahabaho. Krishna is calling Arjun Mahabaho. Somebody who's got very, very strong arms. Somebody who's so brave in wars that he can defeat all his enemies. Right? So he's saying, Tum to Mahabaho ho. If you can defeat all your enemies, do you think you cannot defeat the mind? So, O Mahabaho, Asamshayam, without doubt, the man is Durnigraham and Chalam. Durnigraha, किसी की निग्राह में नहीं रहता है. You cannot keep it under your watch all the time. It is very, very hard to keep a watch on your mind all the time. It is chanchal, the way you said, chalam. It is flickering. But underline these two words, abhyasena and vairagyena. The first words of the third line and the fourth line. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. By two things you can control your mind. One is abhyas and one is vairagya. Okay? Now what is abhyas? Abhyas means practice. Constant practice. Constantly engaging in A, B, C, D. Good association, good books. Chanting and diet. A for association, B for books like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad, C for chanting, D for watching our diet. This is abhyas. Constantly practice the A, B, C, D of bhakti. This is niyam. This is the do's. Remember we did yam, niyam as even the first stages of Ashtanga Yoga. So this is niyam. Niyam ka palan karo. And vairagya means detachment. The don'ts. The yama. Practice the four regulative principles. That is detachment. If you do this, abhyas and vairagya, then your mind will come under your control. Always remember, taking your mind away from the world, away from the material world is vairagya. Bringing your mind towards God is abhyas. Okay? Everything that helps me take my mind to God. That is why the ABCD, right? Every time I associate with fellow devotees, my mind is focused on God. Every time I'm reading good books, Sada Sevya, Srimad Bhagavati Katha, Yasya Shramana Matrena, Harischittam Samashraye. Satyati Mataji had given us this beautiful verse where she says, Sada Sevya, constantly relish. What should you relish? Srimad Bhagavati Katha. The Katha in Bhagavad Gita and in Bhagavad. If you do that, Yasya Shravana Matrena, simply by listening to it, Harischittam Samashrayet. Hari will come and sit in your chitta, in your consciousness. Right? So this is constantly associating with devotees, constantly associating with good books. What will that do? Hari will come and sit in your chitta. Then C, chanting. Every time you chant, your calling out to God. Hey Radha, hey Krishna, engage me in your service. Right? Make me yours. You are mine and I am yours. That is all that I want. And D, diet enables us to be attentive when we are associating with devotees, when we are reading a book, and when we are chanting. Right? So when we do the A, B, C, D, our mind comes and rests on God. Are we clear? So God himself is telling us, yes, I understand mind is chanchal, but there is two things that you need to do, abhyasa and yoga. Vairagya. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, vairagyena cha gruhyati. Okay? Then, I'm not doing the verses again, but in verse 36, Krishna says, if you want to practice Ashtanga Yoga and still stay in your family life, then it's pretty much like you're trying to start a fire, but you're pouring water on the wood. Okay? So, if you want to practice Ashtanga Yoga, you truly have to go away from your material life. It's like this. If you have a disease, right? Going to the doctor and taking medicines is one part of the solution. Right? You've gone to the doctor, he's diagnosed what's happened to you and he's given you medication. You're taking the medication. But with that, he's also told you to not do certain things. Okay? So every time you go to a doctor, there is prescription and there is proscription. All of us know the word prescription, the medication, right? The treatment that we have to take. But equally important is proscription, the prohibition, what the doctor has told us not to do. If I have a problem with my liver, I will take the medicine. That is abhyasa. But I will not consume alcohol. That is vairagya, the proscription. Correct? So abhyas is doing everything that I have to do to take me closer to God. Vairagya is making sure I don't do anything that takes me away from God. Are we clear? So please note this down. Prescription and proscription. Very, very important. Yam and niyam. Both of them will help me move forward. Now Arjun has listened to all of this and a very, very big doubt comes in his mind. He thinks, oh my God, Krishna, when we start listening to you, when we start listening to how wonderful this whole spiritual path is, right? We get on the path. Lot of people get started on the path. But as we go ahead, this path starts getting tougher and tougher. We all agree, right? पहले जब भक्ति में आते हैं, everybody says, एक बार भगवान का नाम ले लो और तुम पार हो जाओगे, right? एक बार हरे कृष्णा कर लिया, एक बार है ना मंदिर में एक आरती अटेंड कर ली, एक बार पुष्प अभिषेक देख लिया, एक बार सत्संग में नाचा गाया. It all seems very, very simple. But as you go forward, what happens? They tell you 16 माल नहीं करोगे तो कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा तुम्हारा, है ना? 4 नियम का कट्टर पालन नहीं करोगे तो तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा. So as you go ahead on the path starts getting tougher and tougher. So Arjuna is thinking, oh my God, even here first Krishna said, go to a secluded place, focus on me, the mind is going to trouble you, follow all the yam, follow all the niyam. This is all getting very tough. So the doubt that creeps up in his mind is, what happens to somebody who starts off, right? He gets onto the path of bhakti, but he's not able to control his mind. So what happens to this person? See that verse, it is so beautiful. Verse 37. Please repeat. Arjuna uvacha ayate shraddhayopeto yoga chalati manasah aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati.
Arjuna said, O Krishna, what is the destination of the unsuccessful transcendentalist who is the beginning, takes on to the process of self-realization with age, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and does not attain perfection in this.
Wonderful, thank you. So, ayat is shraddhayopeto. जिसने श्रद्धा के साथ शुरू तो कर लिया लेकिन ही इज अनसक्सेसफुल. What happens to him? Aprapya yoga samsuddhim. He has not been able to reach perfection. Kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Krishna, ये बंदा कहाँ पे जाएगा? इसका क्या होगा? Remember in the second chapter, there was a very beautiful verse where Krishna said, Neha bhikramanashosti. Does anyone know that verse? नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न वेद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. Right in the beginning, the second chapter, Krishna had said, if a person does even a little bit, स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य, थोड़ा भी अगर धर्म का काम कोई करेगा, he is saved from त्रायते महतो भयात्. The most भयानक destination से you will be saved. Which means you will definitely get human birth in your next life. You will not become an animal, you will not go to any other place. You will definitely get a human birth so that you will be able to continue on the path of bhakti. तो अर्जुन is thinking कि भाई कृष्णा, पहले तो ना तुमने ये गारंटी दे दिया था. Does this still apply? Right? I want you to confirm your statement, Krishna, because sincerely, with faith, with proper shraddha, people start on this path, right? They follow the scriptures because पहले की कुछ संस्कार होते हैं. You're born in a good family. I'm sure most of us are born in families where सुबह उठ के भगवान को जय करके only we went to school, or we recited some prayer and we went to school. Automatically mom ने भोग दिखाया था तो we ate भोग दिखाया हुआ खाना, right? We did all of this. When we were children, we also had faith, but life took us to different places. And as we went, when we set up our own homes, right, वो altar गायब हो गया, भगवान को प्रसाद दिखाना गायब हो गया, भगवान को सुबह सुबह उठ के जय करना गायब हो गया, right? All of these things happened as we walked through life, right? So Krishna, I started my journey with Shraddha, but somewhere along this journey, I became careless, right? I have not been able to complete this journey. It got difficult. I got engaged in other things. Now, what is going to happen to a person like me? Everything that I have done, is that a waste? Because literally, when we set out on this spiritual path, one must understand, forget bachpan mein. Let's say, अच्छा खासा maturity mein, you've started off, right? A few days you've done proper sola mal. I remember there was a situation in my life where I was so frightened. I went and I stood in front of God and I said, ठीक है, get me out of this situation and I will chant Sola Mal every single day. Right? तो बड़े जोश से I started chanting 16 Mal every day. But it got difficult. My problem got resolved. I got comfortable in life. Every single day it got tougher and tougher for me to do my 16 Mal. And then I picked up the phone and I called Satyati Mataji. I said, Mataji, kuch desperately I needed Krishna's help. I took this vow. But now I'm not able to keep this. Right? So what should I be doing? And at that point, it was very, very beautiful because please remember, Satyati Mataji is somebody who says, Baki sab gaya bhaad mein, you have to chant your 16 rounds every single day. Right? And she told me, she said, Varsha, I don't want you to give up. But I want you to try your best. है ना? नहीं उसके आगे होता. Please remember, Krishna does not put burdens on you which you cannot carry. And that's when she told me that when you are on this spiritual path, you're literally declaring a war on Maya. You're telling Maya, you know what? I'm going to fight against you. And Maya is so strong. Daivi Yesha Gunamayi. This Maya is also Krishna's energy. And she does not want any era gera nattu kera to go up to God. So she will keep luring you with hajar attachments. Right? So you are fighting Maya. So don't ghabrao matto. Right? God will show you the way. So here Arjuna is asking कि what happens to these sadhaks who have started बड़े जोश से but कहीं न कहीं they have given up. So Krishna ऐसा होगा क्या कि now they are neither going to enjoy material happiness nor will they enjoy spiritual success. Are they going to be like धोबी का कुत्ता, न घर का न घाट का? है ना, कभी doubt आता है, right? So Krishna responds that very, very beautifully. In verse 39, Krishna says, Arjun, I promise you, I am repeating my promise of what I have said before. Right? This section actually is so beautiful. The destination of an unsuccessful yogi. Arjuna, I understand that people take on spirituality with a lot of enthusiasm in the beginning. But dheere dheere, like Varsha, a lot of you will find that your determination is going to weaken. Shuru mein there's a lot of vava and a lot of praise, a lot of encouragement that we receive. And we ride that wave. We get a lot of attention. Everyone saying, "Wow, wow, wow, you know what? She's chanting 16 rounds now." But we don't realize that all of this comes at a price. Spirituality is not a fad. Spirituality is a way of life. And the way we are conditioned, we are pleasure seeking. Right? We are pleasure seeking because we are so seeped in our material lives. Right? We're constantly looking for pleasure. And we don't realize that pleasure can be got in our spiritual lives. Right? Ideally, the greatest pleasure, the greatest ananda is in our spiritual life. But for that, we need to do diligent sadhana. Every single day, wake up early. Every single day, chant your rounds. Every single day, follow the 4 regulative principles. Every single day, when the mind is making a demand, you've got to say, sorry, wrong number. And all of this is very, very hard. Krishna says, yes, I understand. And then listen to the verse that Krishna speaks. Verse number 40, please. ध्यान से सुनना. Please repeat. श्री भगवान उवाच पार्थ नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते नहि कल्याणकृत् कश्चिद् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Partha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil.
This is so beautiful. Krishna is saying, if one has done kalyana, any kind of auspicious activities, दुर्गतिम तात गच्छति. अरे मेरे बच्चे, उसका दुर्गति कैसे होगा? Right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna that there's absolutely no need to worry. No destruction, not even the slightest inauspiciousness is going to touch somebody who has fallen from his yoga practice. And Krishna says, not in this world, not in the next world. This is Krishna's assurance. Look at how beautifully he calls Arjun Tat. Tat means, oh mere bacche, mera beta. Right? Arjun is being shown so much affection. Krishna wants to tell everybody that he himself will take care of people who walk on this path. Everybody who even steps on the path of spirituality is very, very dear to Krishna because they've made a resolution to engage in the most auspicious activity. And so Krishna says, the doer of good never comes to grief. I will protect my devotee in this world and in the next world. Please remember these words. Look at that verse. नहीं कल्याण कृत कश्चित दुर्गतिम तात गच्छति. जिसने थोड़ा भी कल्याण किया हुआ है उसका कभी भी दुर्गति नहीं होगा. This is God's assurance. It is a promise. It is a guarantee to all of us. Each one of us should know that every single round that we've chanted, every single class that we've attended, every single verse that we've tried to study, Bhagwan is saying none of this is going to waste. Right? And then look at the two verses that follow, because here Krishna is explaining how he preserves our efforts. Right? Krishna is telling us that for a yogi who does not complete his journey in the present life, what do I do next? Okay? Sonal, you have a question, dear?
I've heard many times that God can get angry with us, like in case we don't do certain things, or that a day will come in case if we, so for example, if we, in case we keep on consuming our punya and बोलते ना पुण्य का घड़ा खाली हो जाता है, now how does this apply to what you just said?
झूठ है वो. झूठ है. In the entire Bhagavad Gita, okay, entire Bhagavad Gita, just towards the end, I think it's chapter 16, one point, there's just one phase where Krishna says, इस बंदे को है ना मैं नरक में फेंकता हूँ, nobody else. Okay, and that we will get to it. Somebody who's absolutely not willing to live a completely tamasic and disgusting life, right? Otherwise, Sonal, you have to keep in mind that he is the most forgiving God, the most loving God. ये सब जो statements होते हैं ना, these are acharyas and elders trying to scare us so that we do sadhana, right? They love us. ममा भी कभी बोलती है ना कि if you don't do this then मैं तुमको फटका मारूंगी. फटके तो मारती है नहीं, right? But she says this to get you on the path because she really loves you. So acharyas and seniors have always done this so that we stay on the path. Okay? But always remember that Supreme Lord is supremely loving, supremely affectionate. That is why we should in fact listen to stories of Bhagavad. I don't know if you've heard the story of Ajamil. Okay, so anyways, I will tell you the story later because I want to finish this section. My prayas today is to finish chapter 6. But remind me, if you have time, I'll tell you the story of Ajamil. Okay, but yes, Sonal, always keep in mind God is extremely loving and the next two verses will prove that to you. Okay?
One continuation of this, does this apply to only Krishna or any other gods?
All gods, because ultimately they all meet in him. Okay, so whatever rules Modi makes, his entire cabinet is going to follow, right? So yes, they are all very forgiving and very compassionate devatas. Okay, verse number 61. प्राप्य पुण्य कृताम लोकान उषित्वा शाश्वती समाहा शुचीनाम श्रीमताम गेहे योग भ्रष्टोभिजायते.
Unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy.
Wonderful, thank you. So, there are two kinds of unsuccessful yogis. There are some who have done a little bit, thoda bahut spiritual seeking and have fallen. Okay? So, thoda sa progress kiya tha, after that they stopped, they left the path. And the second is a person who has done a lot of yoga practice and then given up. Okay? So, there are two kinds of fallen yogis. One has fallen after a short practice, one has fallen after a long practice. This verse that we are doing is for somebody who's fallen after a short practice of yoga. Okay? For him, God says, Prapya punya krutam lokan. This person, with all the punya that he has collected, what is he going to do? He is going to go to the lokas of the punya people. Matlab, he is going to go to heavenly planets. Remember, we are all on earthly planets. Above us are the heavenly planets. Below us are the hellish planets. So Krishna is saying, जिसने थोड़ी सी भक्ति की है, right, and then given up. When he gives up his body, what happens? He goes to the higher planets. He goes to the heavenly planets. There, for a long time, he is going to enjoy every kind of imaginable comfort. He is going to enjoy heavenly planets. And after that, I will put him back here on earth. And on earth, I won't send him to Aisi family. Shuchinam Shrimatam. I'm going to put him either in a Shuchi, in a Brahman family, or in a Shrimatam, a wealthy family. Okay, why? Because if I put him in a Shuchinam family, a pious family, then bachpan se that pious family is going to nurture the child's spirituality. Hai na? And if I put him in a Shrimatam, in a wealthy family, then anyways he does not have to worry about, aata dal kahan se aayega. All his bodily needs will be taken care of. So he will get all the facilities possible to engage in spiritual activities. This is for somebody who's done thoda bahut bhakti and fallen off. This is the consolation prize in spiritual life. Consolation prize is that our spiritual life and our material life will be very, very nicely facilitated. Take a minute and each one of us look into our own lives. We've all been born to parents who've always given us a culture of Bhagwan Ji in our house. And we're all born in decently wealthy homes. We're all comfortable materially and we've had a decent background of spirituality. Life has been very, very kind to us. Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, we're all sitting and enjoying satsang. Hai na? So this is an indication that we have definitely done thoda bahut to kalyan in our previous births. Right? Now, agar ye apna consolation prize hai, then what happens to people who've done a lot of punya and then for some reason fallen off the path? So the next verse is going to tell us what happens to people who've practiced spirituality for a long time and then for whatever reason they've given it up. Okay? Please repeat after me, verse number 42. Athava yoginameva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrisham.
Or if the unsuccessful, after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom, certainly such a birth is there in this world.
Amazing. For those who have fallen after a long period of practice, they will be born in a family of super intelligent yogis. So in their case, there is no wastage of time. Remember, जब थोड़ी भक्ति करके हम लोग गिर गए थे, what happened? We went to heavenly planets. We enjoyed over there and then we came back to this material world. Right? Krishna says that is a detour. For somebody who's done long bhakti, for them, I will directly put them in this material world and I will put them in a family of great devotees. I won't send them to heavenly planets and waste their time. Right? I'll pick them up and put them in a family of great devotees, and this birth, Krishna says, is very, very rare. When a person is born in a family of great devotees, then bachpan se na wo kartal baja raha hai, wo bachpan se mridang baja raha hai, right? I have seen 2-year-old kids recite verses, 4-year-old kids come in Bhagwan Prabhu's satsang and play mridang. So this child is supremely fortunate. If you read Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada will say that he was born in an exceptionally spiritual family. And so right from birth, he was trained in devotional service of the Lord. He was barely 3-4 years old when his father built a cart for him so that in his area he could do a Jagannath Rath Yatra. Right? So these children receive a beautiful spiritual environment right from the beginning of their life. Now please remember, when I was little, okay, my mom, very spiritual, but my mom did not have answers to my questions. Right? So what is that? That's a pious family. Jahan pe ho raha hai, lekin not with understanding of why we are doing what we are doing. Right? Most of us come from that background. Here, families like in which Prabhupada was born, there is a proper scriptural explanation to why the family is doing what they're doing. Right? So you're born in a family of no kanda lasun. You're born in a family where parents are chanting. You're born in a family where every day with understanding scriptural activities are being done. Right? And then Krishna continues in verse 43 to say कि when a person takes birth like this, उसको immediately है ना वो चमकता है. He gets the wisdom. He remembers everything of his previous life, and however hard he tries to go away, God will pull him back. So in this Janam, he will try even harder to complete his spiritual journey. Right? So you have to always remember Bhagwan is very, very fair. Whatever spiritual assets we've accumulated in our past life, he makes sure we get them back. Right? You remember we had done prayers and shreyas. Prayers, everything that we work for. You know, I got a fancy car, I got fancy education, I bought a large house. Everything that I will leave behind when I go ahead in my journey. Prayers. But shreyas, God has promised that He will give it to me in my next life also. Right? So Bhagwan is making sure that whatever spiritual assets I have accumulated in my past life, I will get them back in my next life. So whatever sadhana I have done in my previous life, I have got back in this life. Right? That is why we helplessly get drawn to a Gita class. We helplessly get drawn to listening to, acha punya kar raha hai koi, let me send some money there. Right? This is helplessly being drawn towards it. It's like this. Suppose we are driving from Pune to Goa. Okay? If we break our journey in Kolhapur, कि चलो भाई रात में ना यहाँ पे रेस्ट करते हैं. Right? So what has happened? My previous life, I have started off from Pune. I have reached till Kolhapur. In Kolhapur, I left my body. Okay? So in my next life, God is telling me I don't need to start from Pune again. In my next life, I will just continue my journey from Kolhapur. In my spiritual life, I have to simply cover the remaining distance. I don't have to restart. But in my material education, I have to restart from KG1, KG2. Right? I have to go through 10 years of schooling, 2 years of junior college, and then whatever senior college. In my spiritual life, I do not have to do that. By God's grace, whatever spiritual assets I had, they will be given to me in Kolhapur, so that I continue my journey from where I had left off. Okay? And in this life, we will keep getting repeated opportunities to perfect our spiritual life. If you remember last week, what Bhakti said is, her brother would call her from India, saying, Chalo, we will chant together. Come on, how many people get opportunities like this? Right? So, God will keep throwing opportunities our way so that we continue our journey. I am telling you, Sheetal simply knew I like to read. I cannot begin to tell you how many books that girl has given me. Everything that I wanted to read. And then, Satyavati Mataji gifted me the whole Bhagavad ka set. Sangeeta Mataji gifted me Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sheetal then gifted me Prabhupada Leelamrit. These are expensive sets. These sets people don't buy for themselves. And मैं बैठी रहती हूँ, I get them as gifts. My latest gift is Jnaneshwari in English. Right? So God continues to give us opportunities कि यार ये तो पढ़ ले. है ना? And these books lie in my cupboard for a long time, and then somebody says चलो साथ में पढ़ते हैं. So this is Krishna coming in so many different forms so that he is helping us walk ahead on this journey. He says, Varsha, you're getting very complacent now. Chalo, utho, ye karo. Ye padho. Right? Somebody else. I mean, Radha said, Varsha, yaar, my birthday, I need a gift. Let's read the Bhagavad together. Pura Bhagavad ka set pada tha mere ghar mein. I was not reading it. And here a dear friend of mine says, you want to give me a birthday gift? Well, read the Bhagavad with me. This is Krishna speaking through Radha. Right? So he is going to keep giving us repeated opportunities to perfect our spiritual life. Right? Krishna says, प्लीज़ यार मैं तुमको इतनी सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ दे रहा हूँ, अब थोड़ा सा एफर्ट डाल दो, राइट? आई नो यू आर नॉट गोइंग सीकिंग स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड येट आई एम पुटिंग यू इन दैट सिचुएशन, अब भाई थोड़ा सा है ना कुछ कर ले, राइट? The sentiments from your previous, the sanskars that you had from your previous life will helplessly then attract you. When Radha says कि वर्षा चल ना यार भागवत पढ़ते हैं, then you'll say हाँ, and then you'll find a beautiful Sheetal Tyagi who will make this possible, right? This is how Krishna enables everything. You must read Radhanath Swami ka The Journey Home. I mean, just imagine there is an American, right, who's leading your Krishna conscious movement, who's quoting shloks in Sanskrit and who's got millions of followers, right? Helplessly drawn. I love his book is because he talks about it so openly. He makes it possible for us. He talks about Irene, this beautiful girl who came in his life. And then he realized, no, I love Krishna more. And therefore he took this journey and said goodbye to that. So it's not that temptations did not come in his life, they did. Right? He got malaria, he got diarrhea. I mean, such a difficult life. And yet he chose Krishna every single time. So if we put in sincere effort, we will reach our final destination. Have faith that our relationship with Krishna is eternal. And even death cannot wipe away our spiritual assets. All our spiritual assets, all our spiritual practices will remain intact. There's a very beautiful verse from the Varaha Purana. I don't know if I've quoted this before. It is so amazing. It says, Yadi vatati doshena madbhakto mam nacha smaret aham smarati madbhaktam nayami paramam gatim. We all wonder, right? When I'm dying, when I'm dying, I fail to remember God. Because Vata, Adi, all these, if I'm unable at the time of death to remember God because, there's a lot of disturbances in my body. I'm not going to be able to chant Hare Krishna. Idhar nali lagi hui hai, idhar nali lagi hui hai. I'm not going to be able to say God's name. What is going to happen to me? God says, Aham smarami madbhakta. Don't worry. I will remember you. When you are in a situation where you cannot remember me, I love you so much. Sonal, this is God telling you, I love you so much that I will remember you. Aham smarami madbhakta nayami paramam gatim. And I will take you to the param gati. I will take you back to that supreme abode. Right? This section is so reassuring. It tells me that no amount of bhakti is less. तुम 21 beats का माल कर रहे हो, not less. Can you do more? Yes, please do more. Because you want to get closer to Goa. You don't want to be closer to Pune. But always remember, have faith. No amount of bhakti is less. As per our time, place and circumstance, we must do whatever we can, but we must stay on the journey. We should be reassured that even if I don't complete my journey in this janam, I have gotten closer to Him. Amazing, right? And with that, we will conclude the chapter. Okay, we'll do the last verse of the chapter, where Krishna is speaking a verse which says, Bhakti Yoga is the best. So this is a concluding verse not only for chapter 6 but for all the 6 chapters that we've done so far. Okay, so we've done Karma Yoga, right? Then we've done Nishkama Karma Yoga. We've done Jnana Yoga. We've done Dhyana Yoga, right? We've done Ashtanga Yoga. And in the end, that last verse, something that everyone must learn by heart. Verse number 67, please repeat after me. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmanam shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo matah. Okay, now understand the meaning. Yoginam api sarvesham. सब varieties of yogi में that yogi who mad gate antar atmana, that person who has me in his atma, who's always thinking about me in his atma, shraddhavan bhajate yomam, he is doing my bhajan with a lot of shraddha. So what are the characteristics? One, he's a yogi. What kind of yogi? He's always thinking of me within his heart. He's got a lot of shraddha and he's doing my bhajan. Okay? Mad gate nantaratmana. In his atma, he's constantly thinking of me. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. He's doing my bhajan with a lot of shraddha. Sa me yukta tamo matah. For me, he is the best of yogis. He is the greatest of all yogis. Sonal, please read the translation.
And of all yogis, the one with great faith always smiles in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my belief.
Thank you. All the yogas that we studied, right? Karma Yoga put us on the beginning of the path, right? It said, ठीक है, जो भी कर रहे हो भगवान को ऑफर कर लो और फिर enjoy कर लो, right? Whatever you're doing, please connect with the Supreme Lord. When Karma Yoga increased in knowledge, right? And थोड़ा बहुत renunciation set in, it became Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga के साथ साथ you went back to Karma Yoga, so your Karma Yoga became Nishkama Karma Yoga. Now I'm doing my karma, but I'm trying to not be selfish. I'm trying to not have self-interest attached in the work that I'm doing. So I keep gaining more knowledge, more I understand, the more Nishkam karma I'm doing. Right? This is all happening when I'm in the beginning stage. Yoga Ruruksha. Then I became Yoga Rudha. I became perfect in understanding, in jnana and in karma. Now I've become desireless. And so I went and sat in Ashtanga Yoga. Right? I'm doing the Ashtanga. I'm following Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. Now I'm sitting in Samadhi. I'm doing my proper Ashtanga Yoga. And when I complete my Ashtanga Yoga, it is bringing me to the point of Bhakti Yoga. Right? So the culmination of all the yogas, the ultimate goal of all yogas is so that you reach Bhakti. Right? And luckily for all of us, we've pretty much started off with Bhakti. We may not be able to do Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, but we have complete faith in God. We worship God in whatever little way we can. We offer whatever we do in whatever little way we can. Kitna bhi, gande tarike se, but we have God at the center of what we're doing. And here Krishna is clearly saying that for one who thinks of me within this heart, right, and who worships me with Shraddha, he is the greatest of all yogis. So don't ever forget that it is with great fortune that we come to Krishna consciousness. It is with great fortune that we start focusing our attention on Krishna and his words. Right? For a moment, focus on Shyam Sundar. That beautiful Shyam Sundar. Kale ghane badal jaise jiska rang hai, whose smile is as effulgent as a lotus, whose face is as beautiful as a lotus, whose eyes are as beautiful as lotus, whose dress is yellow pitambar, beautiful, shining like gold. He's wearing these beautiful jewels, right? The Kaustubh Mani. He has a flower garland. He's the same person who comes as Ram, same person who comes as Narsimha, as Varaha. He is Krishna, the perfect child, the perfect husband, the perfect friend. For us, our perfect master, our perfect God, full of all opulences. And if we can focus on Him for even a fraction of a second, if we can think of Him in our hearts with love and devotion, then Krishna says, you are the highest yogi. So Dandavat Pranam to all you yogis. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Dhyana Yogo Nama 6th Adhyay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all for joining.